This is... Warning letter was sent by the Phantom Weasel?
Absolutely. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Phantom Weasel never acts as you expect. He must have faked his own death 10 years ago using a body double. Now that he's back, I'm sure the guards who worked on his case back in the day are in for a headache. But however this turns out in the end, the one thing it won't be is boring.
Couldn't agree more. As a journalist, I'm gonna get a lot of mileage out of this one. Thank you, sir, for your time. Now, who should I interview next? Oh, hey! What a coincidence! Fancy meeting you here. Perfect timing. So, the Phantom Weasel's latest warning letter. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is the first time we're hearing of this one. Could you clue us in?
Huh? Oh, sorry. Yes, this case is from a decade ago. I guess you wouldn't know about it. Well, not to worry. You're in good hands because I'm a professional. The story goes like this. 10 or so years ago, a phantom thief became active in the court of Fontaine. Known only as the Weasel, nobody knew his true identity, and the authorities never managed to catch him.
Wow, cool! He sounds like one of those mysterious night burglars that you read about in novels.
Precisely. Well, except the part where they actually have a good reputation. Our Weasel targeted whatever people held dear, and no one was safe from his predations. He would just as soon steal a necklace from a rich merchant's safe as he would a toy doll given to a commoner child for their birthday. I know. The phantom thieves you read about in novels rob the rich to pay the poor, but this guy did not discriminate. Unsurprisingly, this didn't work wonders for his public reputation. Every man and his dog wanted to see him behind bars.
Yeesh. So, did they catch him?
Not exactly. There's a good chance that the Weasel would still be at large to this day if it hadn't been for an accident 10 years ago. A magician named Caesar fell to his death in a botched high-altitude escape performance. When the police went through his personal effects, they found a hoard of stolen loot and gadgets used for criminal activities. And that was how the Phantom Weasel's identity was revealed to all. Sure enough, thefts in Fontaine went down after Caesar's death. But today, 10 years on, the notorious thief has once again issued one of his warning letters and pasted it on the gate of the Opera Epiclese for all to see. I had to squeeze through the crowd this morning to get a photo as soon as I heard. Here, it's this one.
So, this is the warning letter, huh? Let's see what he wrote. 3 days from now, when evening falls, I shall take from you that which you hold most dear at the Opera House, just as you did to me 10 years ago.
This is, without a doubt, a clear declaration of criminal intent. After years of laying low, the Phantom Weasel is back with a vengeance. what seemed like an open and shut case has been blown wide open again. But why has he re-emerged now? And what does he want? I sense an epic scoop, and I'm going for it.
Uh-oh. If this thief will steal anything that other people value, does that mean even we might be targeted? But Paimon doesn't want to get kidnapped. Well, he'd have to go through you first. You would stop him, right?
Okay, the people have spoken. It's clear that the public are very concerned about the Phantom Weasel's reappearance. Let's see, I've got a photo of the letter, my interview notes. Yep, that should be enough to form the skeleton of my article. It does feel like something is missing, though. Something exclusive. Who should I interview next? I need someone with a more concrete connection to the Weasel. Is that who I think it is?
Lyney!
Magic, magician, Caesar, the Phantom Weasel! That's it! Let's go interview Lyney! You see, the original Phantom Thief Caesar was a magician too! And what do Phantom Thieves and magicians have in common? They both have an air of mystery about them. Perhaps there's a connection there.
Are you serious? What sort of a deduction is that?
Oh, relax! My journalistic instinct tells me that an exclusive news story is beckoning. Let's go! No time for delay!
Wow, Mr. Magician! How did you know which card I picked?
Oh, it's simple. Come closer and I'll let you in on my secret. Magicians have a special skill called telepathy, which means we can read other people's minds.
Really? Then, what am I thinking now?
Well, first you need to relax, because I can see that you're clenching your fist in your mind, as if to say, no, I mustn't let him guess it.
Aww.
And now you're getting a little flustered. You're trying to find a way to empty your mind, to think of nothing at all. But the more you try to hide a secret, the easier it'll come out. You snuck out from home today, didn't you? You told your family a little lie so you could come out and play. Now, that's not a good habit.
You can tell? Oh boy, you really can read my mind.
Of course. Oh, and that's the end of my performance. You should really be heading home. Remember to apologize to your family, all right? They must be worried about you.
All right, got it. Bye, Mr. Magician.
Hey, Lyney?
Why, hello. We meet again. Are you looking for me? What's the situation?
Well, why don't you guess, Mr. Telepathic?
Oh, please. You didn't believe that spiel, did you? The power of telepathy is quite beyond me.
I'm sure that child would beg to differ. Seemed like you were right on the money.
Aún me queda una carta.
That
Con
was
la que
nothing
yo
more than a
junto su
little
último.
trickery. I made an educated guess based on his micro-expressions. That, plus the fact that he was the only kid here without his parents, and he looked as guilty as sin. He made it easy for me. You guys, on the other hand... Let me guess. Don't tell me you're here for the Phantom Weasel, are you?
Wow, got it in one! Is this more of your trickery at work?
Wait, really? No trickery this time. It was pure luck. His warning letter's been the talk of the town, so I figured that maybe you were asking around about that.
Bingo! you, I plan on writing a column reporting on the latest news about the Phantom Weasel. So, Lyney, what are your thoughts on this infamous thief's reappearance?
To be honest, it makes me angry.
Angry? Why?
You read his letter, right? The Phantom Weasel claims he's planning something in 3 nights' time at the Opera House. That's the night I'll be performing there.
Huh. What are the chances? Wait a minute, you don't think he's after you, do you?
Well, if he is, then his warning is clearly a direct challenge to me personally. And if he's not, then it's still going to be a huge headache for me. The mere mention of the Weasel's name is enough to scare people off. So once the contents of that letter get out, barely anyone will be showing up to watch my show. But I've been preparing for this for a long time. I'm not about to let him ruin my big day. This leaves me with only one choice. I have to expose the Phantom Weasel's identity before the show begins.
Really? So what you're saying is, we might get to see a live duel between a famous magician and an infamous thief? Wow, this has exclusive written all over it!
To be honest, I'm not sure if I'll emerge the victor. The Phantom Weasel is a notorious crook, infamous for his inscrutable methods.
You're being far too modest, Lyney. I think your magic tricks are even more inscrutable than those of a thief.
Thanks for the compliment, though I have to say, I don't care much for the comparison. A lot of people liken magicians to thieves because we both have the ability to make things disappear without the person noticing. But there's an important difference that these people overlook. Allow me to demonstrate with a quick magic trick. Here, I have a flower, just an ordinary flower that was picked not long ago. Watch it carefully now. 3, 2, 1.
It's gone!
That's the question. Where did it go? Therein lies the difference between us. Thieves make precious things disappear, but only magicians make them reappear. If I could now invite you all to check your clothes, there might be a surprise in there somewhere.
A surprise? Let me see! It's right there! But how? You haven't moved this whole time!
What an outstanding trick! Sorry, Lyney, it seems that my previous praise was woefully inadequate. Clearly, magic is the superior art form to theft.
Don't worry, I didn't take offense. I just wanted to take the opportunity to perhaps change some of the preconceived notions you might have about magicians. Since Caesar's death, a lot of people associate magicians with criminality. It can be quite frustrating.
I can imagine. Coming back to your trick just now, might I presume that you are well versed in floral symbolism? For example, magicians often use rainbow roses in their flower-related performances to represent passion and romantic encounters. But you used a Lumidu spell, which, if I'm not mistaken, allude to separations. I'm curious to know if there was any deeper meaning behind this choice?
Impressive knowledge. It's no wonder you're such a successful journalist. But I'm afraid I don't know the first thing about floral symbolism. I'm just in the habit of using Lumidu spells in my magic. It sounds like something I should look into, though. I'll buy myself a copy of Fontaine's Floral Language Facts when I have some time. But it'll have to wait until this Phantom Weasel business is behind us.
Well noted. In that case, this brings us to the end of our interview. I, for one, am looking forward to the final showdown between you and the thief. Please feel free to get in touch to update me on any further developments. Otherwise, I will of course see you at your show in 3 days' time, but let's hope the Phantom Weasel is caught by then. If there's nothing else, I'll be off. You've given me lots to work with here, and I've got no time to lose if I want to write that exclusive piece. I'll see you all later.
Lyney, are you gonna tell us how you did that flower trick now?
I'm afraid that's my little secret.
Aww. Well, magicians are entitled to their secrets. But Paimon's really itching to know how it's done. You feel it too, right? So itchy!
Not so itchy then, huh? Well, since you're so concerned, how would you like to serve as my temporary magician's assistants and help me investigate?
Magician's assistants? Oh, that sounds fun! Assistants are technically magicians too! Also, it'll bring us one step closer to figuring out how that darn trick is done! Shall we go for it?
Excellent. Thank you for putting your trust in moi. The first thing we need to look into is who Caesar really was. If he truly was the Phantom Weasel, that means that the Weasel is dead, and whoever wrote this warning letter is just a copycat criminal. But if he wasn't the Weasel? Well, that'll make things more interesting. It would mean that the Weasel lives, and he's been laying low all this time in some corner of Fontaine. And if we're investigating Caesar, his fiancée Gemma is a good place to start. Word is that she visits the cemetery. We should make a move.
You took your time.
Sorry, I bumped into the Traveler and Charlotte en route, and we ended up chatting for a while.
It's been a while, Annette. We're working as Lyney's temporary assistants in the investigation of the Phantom Weasel.
Thank you. It's good to have you helping.
So, what's the situation? Have you seen Gemma?
Nope. I've been here a while, and she still hasn't shown up.
How bizarre. Maybe it was bad intel. Well, we won't get anywhere by standing around waiting. Traveler, Paimon, let's go ask around. Excuse me.
Gemma? You mean Caesar?
I'm just trying to...
Yeah, she does. Ever since Caesar passed away, I asked her what she was doing. She knows he's gone.
She's been...
I'll bet. I don't know if I'm honest. I think this is all so... Anyway, well, that's everything.
All right, well, thanks for...
You're welcome.
Did you hear the news? They're saying the Phantom Weasel's back.
You're kidding.
I don't know anymore, but what if?
Called it.
Oh, please.
Wait, did I say that? I don't seem to recall.
Hello there. Sorry for disturbing you, but we're actually quite interested in...
You've come to the right He was a great magician. I was right up close.
I saw him sometimes.
He doesn't...
But after he died, there were also, as I'm sure you know...
Whatever the case, now that the Weasel is back, I bet Gemma must be pleased. No, speak of the devil. That's her over there. If you've got any more questions about Caesar, she's definitely the one to ask.
So that's Gemma. Is it just Paimon, or does it look... Wait. It looks like she's injured. Come... Hi there. You're Gemma, right?
Who's asking?
Don't be afraid, we mean no harm. It looks like you're injured. How bad is it?
Thanks for your concern. but you didn't answer my question. Who are you, and what do you want with me?
My name is Lyney, and this is my sister Lynette.
My name's Paimon, and this here's the Traveler. We're investigating the Phantom Weasel.
The Weasel posted a warning letter this morning. If he still lives, that means that Caesar was falsely accused. You knew Caesar better than anyone else. So if you're willing, we'd love to hear what you think about all this. I promise you can trust us. We won't hurt you. In fact, we'll do all we can to keep you safe.
I never believed that he was the Weasel.
Huh. I suspected as much. Okay, so going back 10 years, do you remember anything strange in the weeks leading up to the accident? Did Caesar have a falling out with anyone, for instance?
No, not that I know of.
Got it. All right, sorry for disturbing you.
If you don't have any more questions, please leave. I want to be alone with him.
Judging by the look on her face, there's definitely something fishy about her.
She's lying. She definitely knows something.
That's fair. We're just a bunch of strangers who showed up and started questioning her about things that happened a whole decade ago. It makes sense that she'd be wary around us. In any case, I doubt we'll get any further here, so let's call it a day. Meet me outside Hotel de Boer tomorrow, and then we'll start the next step of our plan. Over here.
Lynette's not joining us today?
I've had her follow Gemma and see if we can make any inroads with her. They should be at a cafe right now. Still, I don't think that Gemma's likely to open up to us. So, we need a... Today we'll be looking... When Caesar passed before long, I had to pull...
You neglected to mention that you were bringing 2 other people with you.
My apologies. These 2 are my assistants. When they heard that I was meeting with the former Magic Maestro himself, they begged and pleaded with me to bring them along.
Oh, forget the pleasantries. Just sit.
Get a load of this guy. Forget the pleasantries, he says, but he looks pretty happy about Lyney stroking his ego.
I only agreed to meet since we're both magicians. Do me a favor and cut to the chase. I have more important things to do than drinking.
Much obliged, sir. As it happens, the matter I want to address is also related to magic. Yesterday morning, a warning letter from the Phantom Weasel appeared on the entrance to the Opera House. He claims to be planning something for the same evening that I'm scheduled to do a magic show there. As such, I believe that I may well be his target. I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that my show can go ahead as planned. Naturally, any investigation into the Weasel starts with a few questions about Caesar, who...
What is there to investigate? Caesar was the Weasel and he's been dead for 10 years. So what if some sick creep thought it'd be funny to write a warning letter? It changes nothing. Are you trying to tell me you actually bought it?
Please, sir, no need to get so worked up. I do concede that a copycat is but one possibility.
possibility, it's a fact, Lyney. Look, my patience is limited, so listen carefully while I'm still willing to put up with you. The weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows that, so do yourself a favor and quit this investigation. It'll lead you nowhere. Look, if this affects your magic show in any way, I will personally compensate you for any losses.
Oh, sir, I'm honored, really. But this isn't about finances for me. My pride as a magician is what's...
Your pride?
I want to find out the
What would that accomplish?
Uh-oh. This is getting up.
Lorenzo? Is that? Oh, it is!
Another day, I'm busy.
Oh, come on!
If I wanted your light...
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Oh, hey! This is your first... and he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend, despite being...
Shut up and get out of my face. Another word out of you... I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Lyney, be my guest. But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Well, that fell to pieces in a rather
Totally. He's gotta be...
I think so too. That guy Edmondo seems to know a thing or two about him. He only just left. Let's see if we can catch up with him. Hip. You okay there?
Who are you? Oh, I say, wait.
So, he was...
Hey, don't go prying into...
What kind of bad thing?
Don't even ask. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut this conversation short. I'm not... And take it from me, trouble with Lorenzo is one thing you don't need in your life. You saw him flare up back there. I don't know what you said to him, but clearly that's not a good sign.
And there he goes.
Shh. I think we're being watched. Don't say anything and don't look back. Any altercation in the city will attract the guards. We'd better take this elsewhere.
You learn new things so quickly. You've already got such a good grasp of Tevat's language.
You're a good teacher, Paimon. Who knows? Maybe the quality of your nasty nicknames will improve someday.
You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourselves?
So you're Lyney. And where's your sister? Ain't she with you today? Save us the trouble and go fetch her for—
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister! Who sent you, huh?
Save your questions.
Look, now, I'm not the—
Don't worry,
Silence!
Curses. They're tougher than we thought. Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys! We ain't through with you yet! Oh, they got away! Did you catch what they— Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. And you're right. Maybe she was too—
Let's head back to the cafe.
Gemma?
You again. What is it this time?
We just ran into the men who've been threatening you, and we gave them a taste of their own medicine, so you can relax now. We're here to protect you.
What? Why? I didn't tell you anything. Why would they come after you?
Sounds like they're no strangers to you.
That's putting it mildly. I know them all too well, and I hate them. It's been 10 long years, and still every time I try to look into Caesar's death, they show up and warn me not to do anything stupid. How do I know I can trust you? do you...
I'm afraid I can't because you see.
Okay.
I've heard that Caesar used to have... Do you know where it is?
The Fleuve Sonde. I also know that the Fleuve Sonde...
Understood.
Got it. But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering dessert.
I mean, bon appetit. But stay sharp, too. They're likely to come for you while I'm away.
Okay. All right. Power saving mode off. I'll start taking this more seriously now.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are... There we go. It...
So this was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
Disappear!
Bow your head.
And voila!
Whoa. Look, the doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look. These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's workshop. There's a distinct lack of mystery. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe, hidden rooms... Aha! If I just move...
A secret...
I'm a magician too. And apparently, great minds really... Looks pretty big in... A round of applause! Huh. It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on. If anyone makes a major...
All right, see you in a bit. Seems like we can't step on the same tile twice. Guess we've got to finish it in one run, huh? looks thick as a brick! Let's take a peek inside it, shall we?
At one of my shows as a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish grant. So I wound up saving. Two children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. They looked much too young to be unsupervised. I do hope they got home safely. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon for children to ask this, of course, but I've never seen any of them as serious about it as these two. I told them that learning magic is very hard work, but that didn't faze them at all. It's like they already knew. They seemed so committed. It seems like something. Surely he's not. I have a good. They have all sorts. They wanted to call me with time. Gemma thinks so. It's nearly time for. I once overheard. It's only been. They're very tough. They hide things from. That's the thing about. I can sense that they're after thinking. P.S. P.P.S. Oh, Caesar.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Lyney and Lynette, don't you think? So did they meet Caesar when they were kids? Let's go ask...
Hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot of fishy things going on in this place.
Fishy?
All in good time. First, the magician slots them at this point. Meanwhile... Oh no! Is that me? Did I just...
Very vivid description.
The audience's gaze then... Of course, that's just how I think the inventor of this trick... He fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. No one could hope to survive that fall. Not without a vision, at least. And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works is just based on what I could gather from his notes and the relevant gadgets here in his workshop.
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never been done. I was about... Wait a second.
Glad you asked. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed. Once the magician's inside, and the box is lifted up into the air, from where they're standing. At this point, he then escapes through this trapdoor on...
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined.
Well, there's a little more There's the falling dummy, many days, and Caesar was a
So...
I can make a I looked into the case files. The map...
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me to believe that Caesar was in fact... Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic... But a magician... The essence of magic, and so... But in his most stressful... Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under, but I'm sure he was. So he opened the, much like when you reach for your instinctively, with the stakes being as high as they were.
But in reality, but how would they be able to?
It would have to have been someone. Isn't that right, Lorenzo?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie. There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the...
You mean Gemma? So you are the one...
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, which is why you can't leave this place.
Do your...
Step on up! Everybody stand!
Settle down!
Step right up. Now disappear.
Bow your head.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now. I think it's high time.
If I had a mo... He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the...
So it was...
Jealousy. He poured everything into his... But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and it brought me nothing more. He forbade me, and with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled in my own, I had to kill him.
And this was your only motive?
It was reason enough. What other
Well, I was under the...
In love with Gemma.
Guess I was wrong.
I am. Caesar was... I never bought into any of that.
Oh, yeah!
That's just how it... I stole cheap things.
So, that's the story.
What choice do I... So be it.
Very well. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me.
Silence! Bow your head.
Lyney has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to framing him for the Phantom Weasel?
Look who's finally developed a conscience. What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lyney? Should we start preparing for your show?
Let me think. Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Jen.
Good point!
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Your third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in moderation. You're not gonna have any room left for dinner now.
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point.
Point.
Did everything go okay?
Of course!
Gosh, I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but
It's okay, but you don't need to be scared anymore.
I always wanted to I was so thank you all.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that. To think, at least his soul.
If only I'd.
Don't blame yourself.
Yeah,
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? This show will be a special one. We're holding it
in Caesar's honor.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Travel.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out. Wait, Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar.
Not this time. My brother's going solo so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is the great magician Lyney has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight, concluding with an...
Wow!
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey through the mystical...
exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. Caesar was a famous... So, how did you two...
Well, I was out on the street once. Children love magic, and somehow...
Aww.
It was...
Oh, that's so...
Is that right, after all?
That's right.
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now.
See? Even with the Phantom Weasel, Lorenzo escaped. Where is he?
What do you mean, Phantom?
As Lyney once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their... But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to put in...
What are you talking about? Traveler Paimon doesn't like where this is going.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a brief intermission, after which Lyney will perform the most electrifying... The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House.
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places. Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any tricks to live. This is a big mistake for a magician to make. But thankfully, I do have...
Lyney? We're not accused Gemma of being the real...
All in good time.
Really?
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. She never missed a target, never left a trace, and no treasure was safe from her thieving hands. But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for who she was. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false weasel to close the chapter on her behalf. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar.
So, being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't need to get my hands dirty after all. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to make even me wonder whether there was really... But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale. What's brought this on, Lyney? Is it something...
Don't worry, Lorenzo's... But I never believed that he was the weasel. And in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession. As if there was some...
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, Gemma, with a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her betrothed is unshaken. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind it?
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a hoax? But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't...
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Lyney, if you're so confident in your version of events, then I think having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the Weasel remained free, then she could take care of Lorenzo.
An excellent answer. Though sadly...
Is that right? Well, don't let me...
As a matter of fact, there's one... Why would the real Weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people? Could you shed any light?
Of course. After all, if I had to guess... Left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed. Scorned. She'd scrounge waste. This was her own... Once again, she was betrayed. This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. I detest that. I will rob them of...
That's so...
Does this story...
Yes, it is quite to my taste.
Huh. 'Cause without that...
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books, Lyney. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside the opera.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to clear... The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as you did to me.
10 years ago? You mean... Wait... Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious kids. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to all this...
We remember all our debts. However, 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years on, and no one cares what... But we did not forget. And so we came to find...
And? What exactly?
Free? Do you really think so? Caesar once I think that applies. Life took many...
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Back to Lorenzo. He knew who you... You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So, but that truth is gone now. And I guarantee...
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope...
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Lyney to perform his final... I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale. Well...
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal fall, after which he was dubbed, but we have now learned...
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. I've been practiced Traveler, Paimon. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone...
Lyney, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So you don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day, you'll...
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lyney said, when you're ready, let's head outside and watch...
But what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough.
All right. Well, let's...
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day, you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Lyney is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Lyney! Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next...
How could he possibly have done...
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just...
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really worth the trip. Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Lyney has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for...
Looks like everyone really loved Lyney's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Lyney anywhere. Where'd he go? Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. But, oh, you mean the one where... Yeah, that's probably... All right, let's go look... Was scared to death when the
Magic is a performance. I was honestly... Sometimes, did he regret taking Gemma and...
You know?
After I joined the House of the Hearth, I told you about my past before, remember? But I quickly realized I needed to learn... We were gifted...
So that's why you...
Yes. In all, we... For instance, when he asked... But in truth, there was... What amazed me was how the lie escaped my... Trust is a beautiful thing.
Lyney...
Still worried about the way I feel? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, after Caesar went on tour, we became... That night, I remembered to keep secrets is to put up walls. You only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma. Because I felt it for myself.
Yeah. Cheer up, Lyney. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey, too. But whatever happened, delicious food, fun toys, and, you know, Traveler, doesn't that kind of make you Paimon?
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing. Life has taken plenty from us, like it... That's why the darkness never consumed me and why it never will. All right. time to lighten this conversation.
It was amazing! Lenny?
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly...
Aw, come on!
Oh, all right then. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me.
3, 2, 1.
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flowers appeared somewhere else.
Really? Let's see. Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different flower from the last time, but more importantly, Paimon has it!
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to start by addressing me as teacher.
Fine! Please, teacher, please!
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you. Namely, the student of magic cannot...
Is that it?
Ah, look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my show. I look forward.
Shall we head back down too? Let's head to the sea...
Melusines.
I'm very sorry, Charlotte, but my sister and I are quite busy today.
Oh, please, Lyney, I'll only take a
Huh? What's happening here?
I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, but just as dawn broke,
That was quick.
Too late, bro.
That was quick, you say? It sounds like I've got some catching. Aha! My instincts did not lead me astray. You do have something to hide. Gemma turning...
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her...
Huh. Okay, then. Wait, no... Oh, I remember now! You and Gemma were nowhere to be found after this quickfire question! Where did you all go after the show?
Oh, we went to the cemetery and Lyney did a private magic. Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminds Paimon. Guess what? Lyney...
What? I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from you myself. Is this supposed to mean that they're more important to you than your own sister?
No, I just,
What the... What now? Oh, did Paimon say something wrong again? This is getting pretty awkward.
Seems like this interview... Forgive my persistence, but when they're apparently one of... All right, I guess I'll leave you to...
Lynette?
Don't worry, I wasn't angry. I was just trying to distract...
Oh, really?
Phew. You and me both, Paimon. You and me both.
Please, take good care of that rainbow rose. I'd be really upset if you lost it.
Settle down.
I've never seen anything like. I simply could not believe it.